Hey guys, it's GSGHD here, and this is a £1,600 gaming PC and rendering PC build and review, so I hope you enjoy this video, and please remember this is only one of my first videos and they will improve. Thank you, and sit back and review. Okay, so kicking the build off today is a Corsair 750D case. This is an Obsidian series case, which will run you about £135. The key features of the case are 1. Good options for cable management, 2. Options for water cooling and air cooling, and 3. Options for removal internal hard drive bays. This is very useful if you have a large graphics card, and the clear window on the side is also very good if you're an aesthetics person. Okay, so the rig's centered around an i7 4770K 3.5GHz by Intel. This will run you about £263. Some of the main features of this processor are high clock speeds, mean for great performance, able to take advantage of Haswell's balanced voltage. It's a K product, meaning its cores are all unlocked. This means ease of overclocking, and also standard overclocking makes it a lot easier for getting better performance out of your PC. The processor will be run on the Asus Maximus VI formula. This motherboard will run you about £259. Some of the key features of this motherboard are: you'll have the bragging rights of being in the Republic of Gamers Club. This is an elite club of PC gamers who really like just to have aesthetics in their build, and the Republic of Gamers equipment is usually quite a lot more expensive than the standard equipment, which can often be exactly the same. It also comes with a 5-year warranty with military spec components. You also get a sticker that says tough inside that you can stick inside your case. However, it will look a bit tacky after a while if your case is getting hot. The last point is it's got stylish thermal armour. However, this is removable if you want to put water blocks on you. Okay, doing all your graphic performance today is the EVGA GTX 770 2GB superclock. This comes with 2GB of RAM, and that's GDR5 RAM, I think, maybe, and that will cost you about £335. The key features of this graphics card are: when it's bought from overclockers.co.uk, which is a very trusted website and has extremely good customer service relies, you get Batman Arkham Asylum, so I would recommend popping over to that website and maybe buying this graphics card. EVGA also standardly superclock, which allows higher performance than Nvidia's current version. There was a test taken, and the average lifespan of these kind of graphics cards was around 12 years, clearly meaning you'll get a lot of. Okay, so running your sound for this build is the Asus Republic of Gamers Exonar Theobus sound card. Some of the key features of this sound card are: it will give you ultimate sound quality. This means those £200 headphones you just bought won't be going to waste. It will also optimise your headphones. That sound cards that are built into motherboards will not have. Usually motherboards have a 7.1 surround sound if it is a high-end motherboard. However, often lower-end motherboards only have 2 to 1. And another point is this will also match your motherboard's sleek style, as it is also a Republic of Gamers product. Okay, so powering the build is a Corsair GS 800W red power supply. This is a gaming series power supply and will run you about £99. The key features of this power supply are: it provides constant power to the vital parts of the PC. This means that if you don't have a good power supply like this one, it may cut out and you may end up short-circuiting the graphics card, and kaboom, your computer might explode, and that's not too good, is it? It also supports the Haswell low voltage states, which will accommodate because the processor is a Haswell chip processor, which means it will be effective in this build and this build only. Braided cables create a more stylish effect if the cables are managed correctly, and this also means that the aesthetics of the case will be a lot better and will look like someone has just chucked a load of cables in the case. Okay, so the RAM for this build is Corsair Vengeance Pro Red. This will be 4 times 4 gigabytes, which will equivalent to 16 gigabytes. It's going to run you in at, you might want to sit down for this, £167, which is quite expensive. However, it's about the aesthetics, of course. The key features of this RAM is, of course, that 16 gigs of RAM will allow for high FPS games on demanding for high FPS on demanding games like Battlefield 3 and, depending when you're watching this video, Battlefield 4. It can be overclocked as the processor supports the RAM, and so does the motherboard, up to 3 GHz, 3000 MHz. The flat top will allow for water cooling blocks to be applied, however this is only for extreme custom loops and isn't really that necessary, but does add to a very nice. Cooling the CPU on this build is the Corsair H100i, and the only word to describe this process and cooler is wow. It can be linked with fan cooler, and this can control the two 120mm fans in front or behind the radiator. This will run you in at a very reasonable £99. These prices are all from overclockers. I don't think I've mentioned this at the start of the video. And some of the key features of this are you can water cool your PC without the expenses and the complications of a custom water cooling loop. You know how the CPU is overclocked even higher than it would be with just a very, very expensive air cooler. Makes a clean finish and allows for high clearance RAM such as the Corsair Vengeance Pro. What I mean by this is if the RAM has a high top, sometimes the heatsink and the cooler can hit it, and this can lead to an unsightly look. Okay, to install software we're just going to use a standard overclockers.co.uk DVD writer and reader. This is just £24. There's no real advantage over any others apart from a Blu-ray, and obviously sleeker design and high. The main storage device of this build, we're going to be using a Western Digital Caviar Black 1TB edition. This has a 7200 RPM and a 6GB per second read and write speed. It's going to cost you about £64, and the key features of this are it's one of the fastest mechanical hard drives on the market. It's a trusted brand and you often get a good warranty with these kinds of products. It also has a 64MB cache, which means you can have a lot of programs open and still be opening them extremely fast. Okay, so to finally summon the build off and put the icing on the cake, we're going to be using a Kingston SSD Now 360GB SSD drive. This will set you back about £47, and some of the key features of this is when the software is placed on this SSD, it will run extremely fast. If you use regular programs, say you're a big Photoshop person or you might use Sony Vegas a lot, you could maybe put the software on there and it will improve its open speeds. You also have very fast write speeds, and SSDs are currently the fastest writing hardware devices